Hi, my name is Hermione, and I'm from Greece. Please like and subscribe. My dad left before I was born, but I grew up with the most amazing mom, who was a hairdresser at a really fancy salon. But when I was 10, I ran into the salon one day to show Mom my report card while she was working on a beautiful woman. Suddenly, I tripped over something and went flying straight into Mom, who ended up snipping off half the woman's hair. And she went ballistic. "You moron! What have you done? I look like a hideous boy. Oh, I'll make sure you never work in this town again." And before I knew it, Mom was fired. I was really sorry, but she wouldn't hear it. "It was an accident, darling. Don't worry. I'll find another job." But the woman wasn't kidding. Mom couldn't get a job anywhere in town as a hairdresser. And soon enough, we were too broke to even make rent. Then one day, Mom said she'd talked to her older sister and we'd be moving to another town to live with her. I'd never met this aunt before. And when we got to her house, my jaw dropped. Her mansion looked as big as the Parthenon. As a maid let us in, a plump woman dressed in expensive clothes walked into the hall. My aunt! I rushed forward to hug her, but she stopped me. "What are you doing? Don't touch me. Just do a curtsy." Who was she? The freaking wife of Zeus? Just then, a pretty girl about my age came running in, and she stomped on my foot. "You're ugly. I can't believe you're my cousin." Wow, I had to live with these people now? Of all the rooms in the mansion, Aunt gave me and my mom the dusty old attic to share. And at dinner time, I could feel her eyes on me as I helped myself to more food. She seemed to be the cheapest millionaire ever. But I promised I'd behave well and not cause Mom any trouble, which was easier said than done. My cousin Lydia was a year older than me, and I soon discovered that Aunt was obsessed with making her a model. One day, I found Lydia balancing a pile of books on her head, while her trainer screamed at her to walk straight without dropping them. The very next second, they all came crashing. "Lydia, you have no balance, no grace. How will you be a model? You, skinny girl, come try this." To my surprise, I walked across the room with the books easily. Lydia angrily tried again, and this time, she went crashing into a very expensive vase. "Mom, look what Hermione did!" "What?" Aunt came charging into the room like an angry bull, and no matter how much I protested, she wouldn't hear a word. And she actually took money from Mom to pay for it, which was her 2 months' salary. Gosh, Aunt was such a witch. Soon after, Mom got me enrolled in the same school as Lydia. On the very first day, I'd just sat down at the cafeteria, where she and her friends joined me. "We thought we'd give you company. You've clearly made no friends." "I'm fine, actually." "So, Lydia tells us you're her maid's daughter? It's so amazing that her mom is paying for your school." "What? No, she's not. My mom is..." "Ew, your mom packed you meatballs for lunch? So uncool. We only eat salads." "Well, I guess you have to watch what you're eating." Suddenly, Lydia leapt forward angrily and rubbed my lunch all over my face. "Did you just call me fat? Call me that again, and I will end you." With that, she and her friends walked away. I wanted to kick her butt so bad, but I didn't want to get into trouble. I just tried to keep my head down and focus on my studies. But Lydia and her friends would find some way to bully me. And it didn't help that I looked really bad in Lydia's oversized hand-me-downs. When Lydia's 15th birthday came around, Aunt threw her a huge birthday bash. And even though she had tons of servants, she made me slave away in the kitchen too. I finally managed to escape and snuck up to the table with a plate. Just then Lydia came running and snatched it. "What do you think you're doing?" "Are you stupid? I'm about to eat, so give that back." "No, it's my birthday and I decide who eats, and you can't." "Oh yes, I will." "What you gonna do? Go crying to Mommy, you big baby?" "What did you just call me?" "I said, you're a big baby." With that, I grabbed a chunk of cake and threw it at her face. She pounced on me and we went crashing straight into the food table. As we threw food at each other, Lydia's friends also joined in and a food fight broke out. When Aunt arrived at the scene, she started screaming like a maniac and all the kids fled, while Lydia burst into tears that her birthday was ruined. And then Aunt turned to me. You clean up this mess right now, or I'll throw you and your mother out tonight." "Do what you like, you miserable creature. I'm not cleaning." I grabbed some food, dashed to my room, and locked myself up. Oh God, what had I just done? A few hours passed and no one came to my room. I was beginning to get worried why Mom wasn't home yet, so I snuck down quietly to find her wiping the walls and floors clean. Mom, why are you doing that? I'm really sorry. I'll do it. It's okay, Hermione. I feel awful that you have to live here because I can't afford a place. I promise, someday we'll leave, but we can't just yet. You don't have to feel bad about anything. I'll be good. I'll even say sorry to Aunt. But I don't understand how you two are even related. We never got along, even as kids. She always wanted to have everything I had. Now she has so much more, and she's still a witch. We both burst out laughing as we cleaned the mess. I'd put up with anything as long as I had Mom by my side. But after the birthday, Lydia and her friends were being a lot meaner at school. One day during recess, she and her friends started hounding me in the corner. Hey, Twiggy, you're light as a stick, I'm sure. Oh, she is. Why don't you go see for yourself? Suddenly, the guy just picked me up as I kicked and screamed. Let me go! Put me down right now! But they threw me in the janitor's closet and locked it. Just then, I heard them all running off, and seconds later, the principal opened the door. He'd seen everything, and he punished the bullies by suspending them for a week. And when I got home, who was Aunt furious at? Me! It's your fault my darling was suspended. She's just a kid, and she's never been punished for anything in her life. I'm a kid too, and she got punished for bullying me. Well, if she's getting punished, you will too. You'll serve all the guests at my party tomorrow, or else. I didn't want Mom to suffer again, so I kept my mouth shut. Aunt's party was full of super rich friends, and I was busy serving them when a lady caught up with me. Hi, you're really pretty. Are you interested in modeling? Before I could answer, Aunt interrupted. Her? A model? No. She's just a maid. Don't waste your time on her. But you're naturally built for a model. You're perfect. I can see you being Miss World, I tell you. Turns out the lady was the owner of a big fashion magazine, and she wanted to have me as her cover page model. What? That was supposed to be Lydia, not this stupid maid. Well, darling, I'm sorry. Lydia isn't fit for my magazine. Aunt went totally bonkers. She grabbed the woman's drink and threw it in her face. Then she started screaming at everyone. Party's over. Everyone, get out. And you're grounded. But when I told Mom later all about it, she was so excited. She insisted we'd go together to meet this woman. We went to the lady's office the very next day, and she was really happy that I showed up. She immediately signed me up for a big magazine shoot. I woke up super pumped on the day, but seconds later, I was screaming at my reflection. That witch Lydia had chopped off my hair in my sleep. I looked terrible. But Mom came to the rescue. She gave me a beautiful pixie cut, and the magazine lady absolutely loved it. And I totally nailed the shoot. Everyone thought I was a natural. Within the next 6 months, I was on lots of magazine covers and billboards, and suddenly, things at school changed too. I was no longer the skinny kid with hand-me-downs. I was the popular model kid now, with a wardrobe that fit me just right. And the best part was watching Lydia burn. A few weeks later, there was a fashion show at school, and Lydia immediately signed up for it too. On the day of the event, I decided to take a quick shower in the gym before getting ready. But as I stepped out, I saw to my horror that Lydia had gathered all my clothes, and she just grinned at me and she walked out. Oh my God, what was I gonna do without any clothes? I looked around and the only thing I saw were the curtains. I quickly pulled them down and made them into a dress with safety pins, and it didn't look half bad. Lydia looked shocked when I walked down the ramp in my curtain dress and blew her a kiss. When I was announced as the winner, she went insane. She literally jumped on me, trying to snatch the trophy away. She would have poked my eye out if some teachers hadn't rescued me. That night, I was walking down to the kitchen when I heard Lydia and Aunt talking about me. Just make her go away, Mom. I can't stand her anymore. She's ruining my life. Okay, baby. I'll get rid of her somehow. You know, I got rid of her father too a long time ago. Wait, what? Got rid of my father? Is that what you just said? What are you doing here? Can't I have some privacy in my own house? Just shut up and tell me what you meant about Dad. Yes, I got rid of him. After my stupid husband left me, I fell in love with your father, but he fell head over heels in love with your stupid mom. I couldn't stand it. So I convinced him that your mom was pregnant with someone else's child and he left. If I couldn't have him, no one could. While I stared at her speechless, I heard Mom behind me. How could you do this to me? All these years, I thought it was him, but it was actually you. Are you completely crazy? Why should you have everything? You didn't deserve him anyway. I would have given him the world. But before she could finish, Mom leapt forward and slapped her hard. You've had this coming for a long time. Come, Hermione. We aren't staying here another minute. We packed our bags and checked into a hotel for a few days. We decided that the first thing we had to do was track down Dad. Mom started calling up their mutual contacts, and luckily we found out soon that Dad lived in another city now, and that he owned $1 million company. My dad was a millionaire? The very next day, we flew over and showed up at his company. Mom asked me to wait outside while she went to talk to him in his office. After we moved in with Dad, I planned a wedding for my parents because they never got the chance earlier. I decided to personally invite Aunt, so I went to her place. Come begging for a place to stay again, haven't you? I handed her the wedding card. I'm rich enough to buy your house now, but that's not why I'm here. The wedding is next week. You and your daughter can come to witness that true love can't be separated, but evil people always end up alone in a big house. You are the best example. I walked out and I never saw her again. I was my mom's bridesmaid at the wedding, and it was the happiest moment of my life to see her get everything she truly deserved. And now I'm living my best life with my family.
Pass me the plates and you take the cutlery.
Kizzy, my younger sister, said as we entered the kitchen. Mom was almost finished with her famous spaghetti and meatball combo. Dad was on a business trip and wouldn't be back in 3 months. He had opened another branch of his business in another country, and he was overseeing that everything was finalized with his new location before coming home. Mom plated the food and placed it on the table.
Okay, girls, it's time to dig in.
Mom, did you add something else to the recipe? It's different. I placed another bite into my mouth.
Different good or different bad?
I'm not sure yet, I said as I chewed slower, trying to see if I could figure out what the extra ingredient was. Kizzy stuffed more food into her mouth.
I don't know what you're complaining about. It tastes the same to me.
I laughed. That's because you have the palate of a 5-year-old. My life with my family is usually like any other family, normal. But in the upcoming months, things took a strange turn. Keep watching to see what I mean. Over the next couple of weeks, Kizzy played in her soccer tournaments. She was the only athlete in the family. Since Mom and Dad were usually too busy with work, I made it my duty as her big sister to go to every one of her games. I was happy when Mom showed up for Kizzy's semi-qualification game. That morning, Kizzy complained of a headache, but that didn't seem to stop her as she scored 2 goals for her team. In the last 10 minutes of the second half of the game, I watched in horror as Kizzy stopped mid of kicking the ball and shouted,
I can't see! I can't see!
Mom and I ran onto the field where Kizzy was surrounded by the rest of her teammates and her coach.
Kizzy!
Mom cried as she approached her.
Mom! Mom!
Kizzy's arms frailed in front of her in an attempt to reach out to Mom. Mom hugged Kizzy.
Let's get you to the clinic to check you out. Mom, I'm scared.
It's okay, Kizzy. You'll be okay. I squeezed her hand comfortingly. About 30 minutes later, we pulled up to Mom's clinic. She ran inside and exited with an orderly in a wheelchair. Mom helped Kizzy into the chair and told the orderly which room to set her up in. I held Kizzy's hand as Mom ran numerous tests on Kizzy. After all the tests, Mom sat down with Kizzy, a look of confusion on her face.
I just can't understand what could be the cause of this. None of your tests show anything abnormal. So, will I be blind forever? Don't worry, Kizzy. I'll find out why this is happening.
Kizzy broke down and cried. I cried with her, and when we both calmed down, Mom told Kizzy that she had to stay at the clinic for the next few days until she knew what the problem was. I begged Mom to stay, but she said I had to go to school.
I'll stay with Kizzy, and you'll go stay with Aunt Pearl.
Aunt Pearl was Dad's younger sister who lived a few houses away from us. Kizzy and I loved her, and she and Mom were great friends. Fine. About an hour later, Aunt Pearl got to the clinic. She spent some time with Kizzy before we headed home to collect my things for school before we headed to her house.
Your mom is the best doctor I know. If anybody could find out what's going on with Kizzy, it's her.
Aunt Pearl squeezed my shoulders. Aunt Pearl suggested that we watch TV to get our minds off things, but all I could think about was Kizzy not being able to watch TV. I snuggled into Auntie Pearl on the sofa. She hugged me, and that's where I fell asleep. I stayed with Aunt Pearl until Dad came back home a few days later. He stayed with Kizzy during the day at the clinic and stayed with me in the evenings. Dad, when Kizzy comes home tomorrow, can I throw her a welcome home party?
I think that's a great idea. After school, we can go to the mall and get some decorations and order her favorite foods.
I'll go and call her friends now so they can tell their parents.
Good idea.
Dad said as we packed the remaining dinner into the fridge. By the end of the night, Kizzy's closest friends confirmed they were coming to the party. I was happy Kizzy was coming home. The house felt empty without her. The next evening, everyone got to the house at 6 p.m. when Mom's car pulled into the driveway and we all waited for the door to open. "Welcome home, Kizzy!" we shouted as the front door opened. Kizzy froze.
Why are you guys here? Jessica, what did you do? Why did you bring my friends over to see me like this?
Kizzy, I just thought...
That's it! You don't think! Dad, can you please take me to my room?
Embarrassed, I apologized and Mom volunteered to take Kizzy's friends home. Dad came to the living room and sat next to me.
I'm sorry it didn't work out. You know Kizzy loves you, right?
I nodded.
She just needs time to adjust.
I sighed. I was just so happy to have her home.
Well, maybe you should go tell her that.
Dad kissed me on the forehead and told me goodnight. I went to Kizzy's room and knocked on the door before I pushed it open. The room was in darkness. I saw Kizzy's outline in her bed and moved to sit on her bed. I'm sorry about tonight. I was just so happy to have you home and your friends wanted to see you. I'm sorry if I made you upset.
I'm sorry, Jessie. I just wasn't prepared for everyone to see me bumping into walls and tripping over my own 2 feet.
We'll get through this together. Over the next few weeks, I helped Kizzy adapt to her new lifestyle. Aunt Pearl helped Kizzy during the day and kept her abreast of her schoolwork, and I helped after school. One afternoon, as soon as I walked through the door, Auntie Pearl pulled me to the kitchen.
Kizzy is in a horrible mood. I've been trying the whole day to cheer her up, but nothing is working.
Maybe I can talk to her.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Aunt Pearl smiled. Hey, Kizzy. I stepped into her room. Aunt Pearl said you were having a bad day.
I've been having a bad couple of weeks, wouldn't you say?
Is there anything I can do?
Can you get my eyesight back?
When I didn't respond, she snapped.
I don't think so. Please leave my room.
I exited Kizzy's room without another word. Kizzy barely spoke a word to me over the next 2 weeks. Mom and the other doctors at the clinic still had no clue why Kizzy still didn't have her sight back. I felt as though my family was falling apart. Kizzy and I weren't close anymore, and Mom and Dad were always fighting even though they pretended everything was okay. Aunt Pearl decided to take Kizzy and I for a weekend so Mom and Dad could have some much-needed alone time. Mom dropped us across by Aunt Pearl and told us to have a great weekend. As I unpacked my school books, I realized that I forgot my history book, and I had a big test on Monday. Aunt Pearl told me to run home for it and hurry back since she was almost finished with lunch. I darted home, opened the front door, and picked up my history book from on the desk in my room. As I was heading out of the house, I heard Mom chatting with someone in the kitchen. When I peeked in, her back was turned to me. She was on the phone. I was about to say something when Mom said something that made my heart sink.
Yes, I gave it to both of them, but Kizzy was the only one who had side effects.
Mom listened for a bit before she responded once more.
Yes, the insurance money from Kizzy's eye loss will cover the expenses, and I'll be able to keep the clinic open.
I listened as Mom listed the name of the antidepressant that she had not only prescribed to Kizzy, but this is what Kizzy took twice a day.
Yes, I know. I have to continue giving it to her at least until the insurance money clears. If she regains her sight before they clear the check, we'll be back in the red.
Mom looked at her phone.
Let me call you back. I'm getting an incoming call from the clinic that I need to take.
I listened in as Mom confirmed that she'll be leaving home now to head to the clinic. I snuck back into my room and hid under the bed until I heard the engine of Mom's car in the driveway. I came from under the bed and peeked out the window. As soon as she drove off, I ran to the office in search of the insurance document that Mom was talking about. In one of Mom's desk drawers, there was a file with 2 insurance policies. One was for me and the other was Kizzy's. When I looked at the date, the policies were taken out about 5 months ago. My jaw dropped. That was right before Kizzy lost her vision. I scanned the document, and if either one of them incurred vision loss, the payout was $650,000. My hand shook as I pulled my phone from my back pocket and snapped pictures of each of the documents. I couldn't believe that Mom was responsible for Kizzy's vision loss. As soon as I took the pictures, I placed the documents back in the file and returned them to the drawer. I ran all the way back to Aunt Pearl's house.
Why do you look so out of breath?
Aunt Pearl looked at me when I walked through the front door. When I didn't answer, she got up from the chair she was sitting on and approached me.
Jessica, is everything okay?
I shook my head as the tears rolled down my face. Aunt Pearl gently took my hand and led me to the sofa where we sat. My voice shook as I told Aunt Pearl about what I heard.
You mean Mom is the reason I'm blind?
Aunt Pearl and I spun our heads in the direction of Kizzy's broken voice. Aunt Pearl helped Kizzy sit on the spade next to me.
I can't believe my own mother would do this to me.
Aunt Pearl comforted Kizzy with one hand while she looked at the pictures I took on my phone with the other. Kizzy, don't take any more of the medication that Mom prescribed to you. It's actually making your condition worse, not better. Kizzy nodded. Her body trembled next to mine.
Does your father know about this?
Aunt Pearl looked at me. I'm not sure. Do you think he's in on it?
Well, there is only one way to find out. Excuse me, girls. I have some business to take care of.
Aunt Pearl got up and went into the kitchen to use her phone there. After about an hour, Aunt Pearl returned and told us to get ready. She's taking us to get some tests done at another medical facility. She said Dad didn't know anything about what was happening, and he was furious, and also the one who suggested the tests. We got to the medical facility and everything took about 30 minutes to complete. Aunt Pearl said she would take us for some ice cream before we headed back to her place. As soon as I opened the door to exit the medical facility, I spotted Mom. Aunt Pearl, I think we have a problem. I stepped back into the facility. Aunt Pearl stood in front of Kizzy and I protectively as Mom pushed open the door.
Hi, what are you guys doing here?
Mom's eyes glanced at the cotton swabs on Kizzy's and my arm. I think she put two and two together since her polite demeanor changed to one of hostility.
Why did you bring my children here, Pearl?
Mom looked at Aunt Pearl squarely in the eyes.
I brought them here to get some blood work done, which, by the way, was requested by their father.
Mom and Aunt Pearl argued and I held Kizzy's hand wondering what to do. Mom tried to get past Aunt Pearl, but Aunt Pearl was not having it.
If you don't hand me my kids, I'll call the police.
Mom called.
You do that.
Aunt Pearl called after her as Mom walked out of the facility. Aunt Pearl called Dad and told him what happened. He told us to wait there until he arrived. Dad arrived 15 minutes later. He told us that we were to stay with Aunt Pearl until everything was sorted out. Kizzy and I hopped into Aunt Pearl's car, and Dad followed us home to make sure we got there safely. I slept in the next day, and when I went into the kitchen to grab something to eat, Dad was sitting there talking with Aunt Pearl. They both had grave looks on their faces. What's wrong?
We got back the tests that you and Kizzy took yesterday. The antidepressant was found in both of your blood work.
But I don't understand. How did Kizzy get blinded by it and I didn't? Aunt Pearl replied,
Well, medication affects people differently.
Can it be reversed? I sank into the kitchen chair next to Dad.
We aren't sure, but I'll do everything that I can to get Kizzy the best help possible.
Dad was true to his word and made sure that Kizzy saw the best doctors. First, he took her to get her blood detoxified before Kizzy's appointment with Dr. 𝗕𝗔𝗦𝗬𝗓. The next few weeks played out like a movie. Dad kept us at Aunt Pearl's and hired security guards to stand outside the house. He also hired a private investigator to get all the evidence he needed to bring charges against Mom for fraud and child endangerment. Once Dad got all the information he needed, he went to the police station. Mom was arrested and Dad filed for a divorce. Slowly but surely, Kizzy's eyesight returned. It took her a year before she was able to see colors and focus on the things in front of her. She now wears glasses, and even though she can't play soccer anymore, she goes to every game to cheer on her former teammates. Mom got 20 years in prison, and unknown to the others, I visit Mom on weekends. I am angry at her, but I do forgive her. I believe everyone should be given a second chance. Don't you? Bye.